Hey folks, it's Rob from Rob's Movie Collection. I've been tagged by Mike at Gray 1951. There's a horror tag going around, which was started by DVD Collector in 1986. As I understand it, he asked 10 questions for us to answer, and then asked everyone to add their own 11th question. I'm not sure how that's going to work, if we're supposed to just keep adding on like that for every person, because otherwise you could end up with like 50 questions, but I'll do my best. I don't know. But let's get going because there's a lot of questions, and I want to get it in under 15 minutes. So, number one, what is your favorite horror movie opening sequence? I'm going to go with Halloween, 1978. It's a great opening sequence. You got the, and I'm talking about the credits. I'm including the credit sequence in this as well. That skull coming at you like that, really slow as the credits come on. That freaky music by John Carpenter is just fantastic. It really just sucks you in there. And then and when the credits are done, it goes to that little chant by the kids, that Halloween chant, and into that POV camera thing that they're doing there. When it just immediately tells you what type of film it's going to be, and it grabs your attention, and you want to stick to it just to see where that POV goes, especially when the little hand grabs a knife. So, that's pretty freaky. So that's my pick for that one. Number two, what are your top 3 horror movie quotes? Now, in order to answer these questions, I may have to talk about the movies, especially some of the things that happen, and especially the endings. So if you haven't seen any of these movies, spoilers. They're old movies, so they've been around for a while. So I think the spoiler period is long gone. But you may not have seen the film, and you may not want to hear the ending. So just click stop or move ahead or whatever. So. At number 3...
What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes?
Yes, this is from Rosemary's Baby. It's the end of the film, and the baby's been born, and Mia Farrow is about to see him, and she looks at him and is horrified, and she says this line, "What have you done to its eyes?" I remember seeing this when I was a kid, just watching it on TV, and it was so freaky because they never actually show the baby. And she's yelling, and the look on her face is just... It's all in her face, the horror in her face, and that line, "What have you done with his eyes?" And of course, they tell her, well, he's got his father's eyes, his father's Satan, And the whole time, you never actually see the baby, which makes it even freakier, and in your mind makes you imagine what this thing must look like if it's the devil's baby, and it's got, what the hell do these eyes look like? So it's really freaky. And number 2, I've got a quote from the Lost Boys.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
And this is the end of the movie where they've been fighting the vampires, and they're about to all be killed by the head vampire, and all of a sudden Grandpa just drives into the wall with the car and kills them. And then he gets out of the car, and he slowly goes to the fridge, and up to this point, they think that he doesn't know anything about it. He's just this befuddled old man. And he takes a drink of pop, and he looks at them and says this line, I could never stomach all the damn vampires. It's a very funny line. It's hilarious. It's a couple of movies have that sort of thing where it's very hard to have a last line that's really, you remember. But this is a great one. It's funny, and it's a fantastic last line to a movie, and all the characters are just kind of shocked by it. And number one quote.
Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
This is a classic line from The Wolfman, the original Wolfman with Lon Chaney. I think it's quoted in some other movies as well, including Van Helsing. I haven't watched The Wolfman in a couple of years, but for some reason I had the idea that the old gypsy woman says this at some point, but I'm not sure she does. When I looked it up on YouTube, she didn't come up saying it. It was, 3 other characters say it in the movie, but not her, so I'd have to watch it again. But it's a great line. It's a fantastic line. It's a classic. It's poetic. It has foreshadowing in it, and kind of tells you what's coming. It's a great line. I like it a lot. I've always enjoyed it. And number 3, King or Kubrick? Which vision do you like better of The Shining? Well, I'm going to go with Kubrick. I assume that this is referring to the movies, the theatrical movie of Kubrick's and the TV movie starring Steven Weber. It's, of course, very well known to horror fans that Stephen King did not like the Kubrick version, so he made this other version. And from what I can remember the book, I haven't read it since I was a kid, but from what I remember, it is closer to the book. But Kubrick's movie is just more cinematic. It's just more memorable, more iconic. It just sticks with you more. It just has more of those moments. I mean, you got Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall in there. It's just and Red Rum and all that. It's got a long shadow there that's really hard to get out from under. So I'll definitely go with that one. Number 4, what is your favorite creature in a horror movie? Oh, gee, ask an easy question. Why don't you? That's a hard one. I think in another tag I mentioned the creature from the Black Lagoon, which I definitely like. But for this one, I'll pick another one. I'm going to go with Brundlefly from The Fly, the Cronenberg version of The Fly from the 80s. And I'm not talking about just the insect version. I'm talking about the whole fly with, from Jeff Goldblum all the way through the insect transformation, because he does a great job as Brundlefly. This is a great monster, great creature, and it's very tragic and sad creature, especially the way the creature ends. It's very well done. Great, of course, great practical effects for the time, and it's just a really, really memorable creature. And number 5, what horror movie do you dislike that everyone else seems to like? I'm laughing because this is the same. It's gonna be the same answer I gave in another tag about this, and I'm sorry to have to say it to you guys because I know you all love this movie, and it's like the holy grail for horror fans. But I gotta be honest, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I cannot stand that movie. I do not like it. I'm not going to go into why. I'm not going to expand on it because I know you guys love that movie and I don't want to make you feel bad or anything. So let's move on. Number 6, in any type of horror movie scenario, who would you want to be grouped with to ensure your survival? Originally, I was thinking Ash from the Evil Dead movies, the Army of Darkness movies, but then I thought, I don't know if I can trust that guy. I mean, he might turn on you. So I'm going to go with Ellen Ripley from the Alien movies because she's a survivor and I think she cares. This is a woman who, with all her fear and trauma, walked right back into an alien nest to save Newt, that little girl. She cares about the people that are loyal to her. I think all you have to do is listen to her. She's got good instincts, definitely. Listen to what she's saying, and you'll get out in one piece. Yeah. Number 7, if you were given creative control over your favorite horror movie, what would you change? Well, if it was my favorite horror movie, I wouldn't want to change anything because it would be my favorite. So I'm going to kind of change this one a little bit over. What I would do is I would continue the anthology idea that started in Halloween 3. Originally, they wanted to do, I'm sure most of you know this, they wanted to do a different story in any subsequent Halloween films, starting with Halloween 3 from then on. And they were all going to be different, and the only commonality was that they were all going to be set at Halloween. And I thought that was a great idea. Unfortunately, Halloween 3 didn't do well, and then they went back to Michael Myers, and I thought that was boring. That's what I don't like a lot about these slasher franchises. It's always the same thing, same character. There's no longer any character development of any kind at that point, or story development. It's just kill, kill, kill. And it's just about finding grosser, gorier, creative kills. A lot of people say, oh, this one's got great kills and stuff. Boring to me. Sorry. But Halloween 3, 4, and 5, if it had been the anthology kind of idea, then that would have been creative. At least you would have had something different every time. And you could do different types of horror films every time. I think that would have been great. So there you go. And number 8, what are your 2 favorite artwork covers to horrible horror movies? Well, you know what? I actually don't know. I don't have a lot of those. So actually what I just did here is I just looked up a bunch of covers. I've always said that even though I may not like all types of horror movies and slasher genre and all that stuff, they have some great covers. But as to bad ones, I actually got 4 that I can show you here. One is called Bad Taste. This was Peter Jackson's movie. I've heard of this one. This is what he made before Lord of the Rings. I can't believe that this is the same guy that made the Lord of the Rings movies. I've seen clips from this movie, and I'm not really interested in watching it. But the poster's hilarious. This alien flipping off, with a gun and flipping off the camera. It's funny. This other one called The Mole People. I don't know if The Mole People is bad. It looks like one of those cheesy B movies, but I love that poster. It's just very classic and all. Another one is Galaxy of Terror. Another kind of painted, classic type of one. I'm not sure when Galaxy of Terror came out, but it probably doesn't really look like it would turn out to be a great movie. And then I found this one called Shark Exorcist. Satan has jaws. That's hilarious. I kind of want to see Shark Exorcist now, just from this poster, but that's got to be bad. So there you go. Number 9. What is a horror movie you have tried to watch several times, but for some reason are unable to finish? Eraserhead. About a year and a half ago, I tried watching it. I'd heard about it all my life. Not all my life, but most of my life. And I finally sat down to watch it. Just too weird and disturbing for me. The description online is that it's a body horror film, which means a lot of mutilations and all that, and body mutilations. That just doesn't do it for me. I was like, okay, thank you. I don't want to finish that. So thanks. Number 10. What movie would you like to have in your collection that you do not already own? Any horror movie starring Barbara Steele. I've heard about Barbara Steele all this time from Mike at night. 1951, Gray 1951, who apparently is her press agent. So, so yeah, any horror movie starring Barbara Steele would be just fine. In fact, I actually been meaning to put that on my Amazon list there. So, I will, Mike. I will. Let's see, number 11. So I guess this is one of the other extra questions here. If you could enter any horror movie and help the characters within, what movie would you choose? Probably those subsequent Halloween movies, starting with number 4. I would go in and I would replace Michael Myers with Michael Myers, because that'd be hilarious, and probably there'll be more survivors. As for my added question, I don't know, this is a hard one to come up with, but I'll go with this. Remember when the Universal monsters were brought back after they'd kind of like fallen out of fashion? They were brought back in the 50s. They had a little bit of a resurgence through being put in comedy movies. They were usually with Abbott and Costello. So it kind of took a little of the horror out of them. But so my question is, in modern day films, if you had to put some of the modern monsters that we have today, and pick whoever you want, Alien, Predators, Freddy, that's a good one, Michael Myers, whatever. What 2 comedians working today, comic actors today, would you put these monsters in a film with? Not that you'd want to do it, because I know none of you would want to ruin the horror of it, but say you had to do it, which 2 would you pick for that? I'm going to go with Will Ferrell and Steve Carell. And they could be the guys running around, fleeing these monsters in a comedic way. So I just think that's a challenging question for most of you horror fans who would hate to see your horror icons end up in some funny dumb movie the way these Universal monster did in the 50s. So, but see if you can answer that question or not. Pick 2 comedians. All right, that's it for me. Thank you to Mike for tagging me. I don't know who to tag here. Maybe Professor Geek. I know he's more of a comic book fan and he's kind of busy and all, but if you want to, give it a shot. How about Robert Harrison? I don't know if he's done it yet. Fred Hall, direct edition. I'd be curious to know what you'd say in this tag. And I don't know, just anybody who watches the video. It's always hard to tag specific people. So if you're watching it, just go ahead and go crazy. All right, I will see you guys next time. Keep watching those horror movies.